Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Hi everybody! All right, we're starting off this morning with a picture from an Ohio bookstore called Books A Million, and the young lady walked in and she turned around for the bestsellers display, and that book, Cruel Prince, was listed there. The other book was not. She also said that there didn't seem to be much interest in the book Spare, that there were a whole bunch sitting there that nobody was purchasing. Also, she sent me this picture of this lovely card that she received from the royal family when she sent in her condolences on the death of Queen Elizabeth. Super nice. Next up, David Atherton posted this photo. This is a different kid for World Book Day who wore this outfit. As you can see, the kid had a flipping picture. Love it. Next up, we're going back to Sarah Ferguson. She attended the last day of the Filming Italy Festival on Friday night in Los Angeles. Now, she said that Meghan Markle makes Harry so happy in a very candid interview. And she also said she thought Princess Diana would be proud of him and the grandchildren. She goes, it's obvious she really loves him, and I just think that's so beautiful. This is why the York people are upset about what's going on with Frogmore. Yep. Now, at the same time, she apparently said that she never met Meghan Markle. She didn't teach her to curtsy. She has no judgment about Meghan Markle. Remember that that's not what was said before. Remember, they met at the Royal Lodge because, Fergie came running out after she practiced curtsying. Are you ready? But yet, she'd never met her before, and she spoke to her at the funeral. They need to get their stories straight. So somebody is lying, and if I had to lay bets, I'd say it's Harry and Meghan that are lying, because they're proven liars. Next up, we have Secret Weapon Sophie, Prince Edward, and the children. They've been on that royal tour in the Caribbean. They came back, they grabbed the kids, and they decided to go skiing. All right, let's hope I say this correctly. They were seen at the Corviglia Ski Club in Switzerland. Now, it looks like they were having a great time, and what I find interesting is one of my subscribers told me that they wrote to the Telegraph Royal newsletter, and Camilla Tominey answered her question, although she changed the wording of the question. And the question was, why does Edward and Sophie's tours and Princess Anne's visit at home get much less attention? And according to her, Princess Anne doesn't want the press on her engagements. Very interesting. And also, according to her, when it comes to Edward and Sophie, it's a question of money, because newspapers have budgets and they can't go to all the engagements. I understand it, but it still makes me sad. Next up, the Queen Consort Camilla was a special guest in the Antiques Roadshow. I happen to love that show, by the way. It was filmed at the Eden Project, and it was aired Sunday the 8th on the BBC. Now, apparently, what she brought to be valued was a very expensive snuff box. Very interesting. All right, moving on. I love to show these people who go online and say, look what I got, look what I got. This young lady got the Order of the British Empire for her work in local government and gender equality at Buckingham Palace. But you know what I really love? Her hat. I love that people in the UK can do this. Fabulous. And it's not just the ladies, it's the guys too. This guy, Simon Nelson, went to the investiture and got his award. I just love this. All right, moving on. The Queen Consort and Charles went to church this morning on the Sandringham estate. I'm pretty sure that Charles felt that he needed it. And, coronation's coming up, you guys. All right, I hope I say all of this correctly. So, at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, in Israel, the oil which will be used to anoint the king at the coronation was consecrated by the Patriarch of Jerusalem, and the Angelica Archbishop. Now, the oil was made from olives that were harvested on the Mount of Olives, which is at the monastery of Mary Magdalene, where Charles's grandmother, Princess Alice of Greece, is buried, and at the monastery of Ascension. The oil is the same oil. It's based on the oil used when his mother became queen. It's the same formula, and it's been used for hundreds of years. It's the same oil also that they're going to be used for Queen Camilla. It's got a special scent to it. I'm telling you, it's all rituals. Now, this will be the first time that you guys will be able to see the anointing of the oil. It's always been shrouded in mystery. Pretty cool. Moving on, still with Charles, the German ambassador put up a post saying that he's very excited to welcome Charles to Germany, that Charles has been there numerous times before, but never as king, and they're very excited to have him back. Nice. All right, now turning our attention back to Harry and Meghan, you've got to know that this entire eviction happened because Harry was warned not to attack Camilla, and he attacked Camilla. So there's no way he didn't know that this wasn't going to happen. Now they're saying that the palace leaked the Frogmore eviction information because, remember Charles met with that Ursula de Leyen and it was a blunder, but that's really not true. I think Harry and Meghan leaked it. We also know that from these photos that they brought photographers into the palace to take pictures without permission, which is probably another thing that led to the eviction. So when Harry and Meghan did that fake pap walk, nothing bothers us, and I'm so glad the United States was able to pick up on that, because believe me, we were. The three signals that they're saying is, one, that Harry had his collar popped up, two, that he was fiddling with his clothing, and three, the way he shoved his left hand into his pocket. Really? Ugh. So now people are going, well, the eviction is going to cost King Charles access to the kids. You guys, he's had no access to the kids. Like, he took one picture during Archie's baptism, and he wasn't even allowed to hold the baby then. He doesn't have access. Harry and Meghan were already holding the kids back. He's not losing anything. And Harry was told that if he wanted to come visit, there are plenty of rooms at the castle, where they can be watched and monitored and make sure that they're not doing anything they're not supposed to be doing. What did I tell you the other day? They can't go on to royal property anymore unless they're expected. That's what it is. And I have to agree with Rock, Tarot Corner of Dew. In the Netflix documentary, they had nothing nice to say about Frogmore, but after they got the eviction notice, it was the perfect UK home. Charles is only doing what he told everybody he was going to do. He's tightening the royal purse strings. If you are not a working royal, then no, you don't need an extra house in the UK. Save your money. And a big thank you to Johnny Boy on Twitter for reminding me that there's somebody else who was allowed to stay at Buckingham Palace while everybody else stayed in their homes. Now, let me remind you all, just in case you forgot, that it's Archie's 4th birthday on the 6th. But may I also remind you that Meghan said that having one child is a hobby, and they really weren't a family until Lily was born. Poor Archie. But we know they're going to do something to steal the limelight. So instead of Archie's birthday, there's some thoughts going around that they may go ahead and christen the daughter. And then they're going to release pictures of Tyler Perry holding her by the font. And they're going to this is what they're doing to try to steal the limelight back. I'm telling you guys. And for those of you who are going, no, I don't think that would happen. Remember, Tyler Perry, first of all, he just flew into Montecito on the same private jet that he owns that he allowed Harry and Meghan to fly in from on their quote-unquote freedom flight. He just flew into Montecito. Remember, this is the man who sat there in the Netflix docuseries and called the royal family abusive without even talking to them, meeting them, or knowing anything about them, just straight off what Meghan and Harry have said. And he's supposed to be a Christian man. Yeah, right. Now, a big thank you to Punch to Cream on Twitter for this. If you guys can believe this, I'm not kidding. The Sussex squad are claiming that there's going to be a party on the 6th, and it's going to be the Obamas and the Clintons. The Bidens, the Truesdales, and their music is going to be Beyonce, Rihanna, Adele, Harry Styles, Ed Sheeran, Elton John. You guys, I'm serious. These people live in an alternative universe. All right, a few more stories before we get into the big stuff. They're saying that Harry and Meghan have been snubbed by Hollywood because they lack decorum. Actually, what they lack is the ability to keep their mouths shut. That's the problem. Now, it's been brought to my attention that Elizabeth Arden, once again, is going to be donating money to the trust for stuff that sells. I wouldn't be able to use that stuff knowing that Harry put it on his privates. Sorry. All right, another blind item came out, and essentially what it says is people are told before they meet Meghan that she expects them to curtsy and to call her the Duchess of Sussex. Is anybody else surprised by this? Because I absolutely am not. All right, remember I told you that Dr. Dunlap was a closet sugar? You guys, look what she wrote. Me and Prince Harry in my bedroom tomorrow afternoon. Okay, she's probably a little bit more than a sugar. So we all know that Harry had the talk with this anti-Jewish man, and right off the bat, the first person that popped up was the CEO of Barnes & Noble. Now, I want you guys to remember that this was all about rebranding and trying to make himself come off as a sane person, okay? So right off the back, he starts to backtrack on what he said about the army. He's trying to smooth things over. What you saw, ladies and gentlemen, was another whinge fest and a scraping of the bottom of the barrel where Harry talked once again about his trauma. I have to agree with this Twitter user. It was like watching Prince Harry be brainwashed. Whatever this doctor said, Harry agreed. He hung on every word and took every diagnosis thrown at him. This man told Harry over the course of the chat that he had PTSD, ADD, depression, anxiety, panic disorders, all of that just from reading Harry's book. Now, I think the part that was reported that got me was when Harry said that Charles traumatized him because he never hugged him. He never showed him affection. I think Harry has been brainwashed by Meghan to believe that that's true, because there are so many pictures out there through the years that clearly show Charles, even when he didn't realize people were taking photos, that he was hugged, kissed, loved, supported. I think Harry remembers things in whatever way makes Harry feel that he's not lying. It's a little bit scary. Maybe it has something to do with all the psychedelic drugs that he's sucking back. This is absolutely no different than when he sat on the Oprah couch and said, I never got to sit on the back of a bike with my dad. You know what I mean? Like, his memory is very selective. So Harry told this doctor apparently that my kids could not have grown up there. It wouldn't have been possible. Let me tell you what I predict. Here's my prediction. The kids are going to grow up. They're going to hear all the things that Meghan and Harry said. They're going to know their dad was using hallucinogenic drugs. They're going to read those letters from King Charles and Uncle William saying you're always welcome here. They're going to realize they were denied a very special life. And they're going to write tell-all books trashing Harry and Meghan, because that's how this sort of thing works. Now, at the same time, Harry keeps saying, I'm not a victim. My father did this to me, but I'm not a victim. Well, that sounds like a victim mentality to me. Now, you guys know how much I love Australian news. Listen to this.
Now, so one of the claims made by Harry was that he didn't receive enough hugs from his father. But look, there are plenty of examples of open displays of affection between the two. And look, I don't doubt that he may have felt genuinely disconnected from Charles. And we obviously don't know what goes on in private. But to what extent do you think these sorts of claims just go to irritate the public?
Well, Caroline, I just think from that interview, we didn't really learn much more about Harry. This is more of the same from Harry, and clearly his financial model is failing because they've exhausted almost all avenues. The tickets to watch this interview, receive a copy of the book were not much at all. I think they were 20 quid. But I think people are just sick and tired of Harry, and they're starting to tune out because we've heard it all before. I couldn't believe some of the stuff I was hearing there, though, that he honestly believes this stuff that comes out of his mouth, that he doesn't want to be the victim. I mean, honestly, this guy is on another planet. These are two of the most privileged people in the world constantly complaining. And I was thinking there was a little bit of peace and quiet there for a while from Harry and Meghan, but sure enough, up he rears his head again and more complaining.
So just remember what I told you guys. This is all about rebranding and our lives are wonderful. Remember, they're not supposed to be complaining about Harry. They're not supposed to be complaining about the royal family anymore. But of course they're going to, because in the end, that's all they have. My wife is so wonderful. Everything is so wonderful. Now, Harry also says that it's an act of service for him to tell everybody what's going on in his life. He doesn't realize how sick we're all of, or maybe he does and he just doesn't care. The guy is a loser. He's a whiner. He has absolutely nothing. We saw at the UN that he and Meghan are not that happy, but he wants you to believe that they're happy. Now, we also know that Harry and Meghan said before that nobody's going to speak for them. No sources. It's only their official communications team. Okay, so there can't be any misunderstandings. So Harry and Meghan have now officially been invited to the coronation. But what are they doing? They're not giving an answer. So now for the next 2 months, it's will they, won't they? Will they, won't they? Will they, won't they? This is ridiculous. But Harry and Meghan were warned that without their royal family connection, they are nothing. So do I think that Harry's going to be a massive hypocrite and show up at that coronation? I would have said yes before the eviction. Now I'm not so sure. Now I think they're going to do the christening of Lilibet. That's what I think is going to happen. In the meantime, Stephen Colbert is now calling Harry stupid. I mean, his credit in the United States has hit rock bottom. I agree with Piers Morgan. I say ban them. But I mean, I don't think we're going to need to ban them because I think they're too busy planning Lily's christening so they can try to upstage the coronation. Now, I'm going to end this with Chris Rock. You know that he's got a special running on Netflix, the same Netflix that ran the Harry and Meghan 6-part special. And Harry and Meghan are both being made fun of by Chris Rock. He's going, asking what the color of your baby's skin isn't racist. He goes, hell, black families are asking that. They're not racist. And a big thank you to the body language guy for these photos. Yep, right from the audience. Now, the final thing is the hair plugs. Here's what Harry's hair looked like when they were in the Invictus Games, and here he was at the talk. It's pretty obvious he had the hair plugs, which we were told. And thank you to Naomi Sky 15, because I agree with you. I believe the hair plugs are falling out. Yep, for sure. All right, you guys, lots of comments. I want to see them. I want to read them. Leave them below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you've already hit the button, double check. Make sure you're still subscribed. Don't forget to go up into the description box. You'll find the links to my Twitter, my Getter, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon. You'll find a physical address where you can send stuff if you need to. For those of you who have donated through the coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.